Let's talk about breathing. Hi, I'm Jason Pierce. I'm a personal trainer, and today I want to talk about breathing, how to do it properly, how to use it during exercise, and a few tips on how to use it to benefit your everyday life. So first of all, there is a proper way to breathe. Huh? I mean, everyone just breathes, right? You breathe. You have to breathe or you die. So can there be a improper or proper way to breathe? Well, believe it or not, even though we can breathe through our mouths and our nose both, we're really only supposed to breathe through our nose. That's where breath should go. And there are plenty of reasons for this. So the nose has filters in it to filter out bacteria, dust, and other things to keep our lungs clean. It also functions as a temperature control system. So if it's cold air going in, it can heat it up. If it's hot air going in, it can cool it down. Also, when you breathe through your nose, you can smell things, and that can give you hints about what's going on around you. Your nose also picks up pheromones, and that also gives you information about the world around you, which can be helpful if you're out in the jungle or something. So if it's really dry outside, your nose can humidify the air, add moisture to it, which helps circulate it through our system better. And finally, this is something really interesting that I just learned while I was researching this. It releases nitric oxide. It releases nitric oxide. I can't say it. Nitric oxide. This is not that hard. Nitric oxide. Oh, which is also just NO. No. It releases NO. We'll just call it NO. So it releases NO into our system. And what that does is it acts as a vasodilator. What a vasodilator does is opens the blood vessels. So when you breathe through your nose, your blood vessels open, allow more oxygen, and allow more blood flow to allow the oxygen to get through our system faster. And again, breathing through the mouth does not do that. Most of us just do this naturally anyway, but when you exercise or exert yourself or get stressed, your body goes into a fight or flight situation, tenses up, and essentially is calling for oxygen and really wanting everything as quickly as possible to get into its system. And if you look at your nose versus your mouth is much bigger than your nose. So you can gulp in larger quantities of oxygen through your mouth, which is why as a default, when you're overexerted or scared or stressed, you start to breathe through your mouth. Through thousands of years of evolution, this is what our bodies have developed to keep us safe. However, in modern society, we're not getting attacked by a lion or something. So our fight or flight tends to be a little bit of overkill these days. So we don't need to do all those kind of knee-jerk reactions that our body wants us to do. So especially when working out, it's better to breathe through your nose because you're going to get better oxygen. You're going to actually control your system so much better and make the workout so much better if you breathe through your nose. Okay, but by default, a lot of people breathe through their mouths because it's easier and it's just what your body wants. So you need to sort of trick yourself into breathing through your nose. Back in my martial arts days, our instructor would give us little pieces of paper like Post-it notes or something, and you had to hold it between your lips while we did a class. And if it came out, meaning if you breathe through your mouth, then you had to do push-ups or something. Probably the whole class had to do it if one person did it. You quickly learn that you can breathe through your nose and how to use that while working out. A way that I learned to do it while running, because I just like everybody, I'm running and I'm just breathing through my mouth after a while when I start getting really tired, is that I realized this was happening. And what I would do is just pay attention to that point where I started doing it and try to go a block still breathing through my nose when I didn't want to, or time it, go 10 seconds, still breathing through my nose when I didn't want to. And then I could just extend it and extend it and extend it. So now when I run or I'm on the elliptical or anything, I breathe through my nose. I just breathe through my nose. Now, when I'm really fully exerting myself, yes, I will breathe through my mouth. But here's the thing, when you want to recover in sports, the way to recover is to breathe through your nose. And this ties into some of the other things we'll talk about later. But if you can, as quickly as you can, stop breathing through your mouth and breathe through your nose, you will recover faster and be able to continue at high levels of exertion in a sporting environment if you can get through your nose instead of your mouth. It's really as simple as that. If you can breathe through your nose, you'll recover faster than anybody who is not breathing through their nose. And this ties into something else. And this is something you can use just in your daily life when you're stressed at work or just want to calm down a little bit. Your fight or flight mechanism can be disarmed, really, disarmed is a really good way of looking at it, by making your exhales longer than your inhales. You inhale through your nose for, say, a 3 count. Exhale. You can go exhale through your mouth or your nose, either way, for 4 or 5 counts. Anything that's longer than the inhale, because you're able to take that time to exhale, your body goes, oh, we must be okay now. So the quicker you can do that, the quicker you can get breath in through your nose and then a longer exhale out, the quicker you will calm down your body and be able to recover in a sporting event, when you're stressed at work, when you get scared, anything like that. And you can just do that in general, even if you don't feel like you're particularly stressed. If you just do that, you will calm your system down even more than it already is, which is a great way to fall asleep, or just if you need to relax, just to relax. So we've talked about how to breathe through your nose. We've talked about the fact that you can calm yourself by longer exhales. And here's the final part of breathing that a lot of people miss, is that you're supposed to breathe through your diaphragm. This is something that we lose as we age. Babies and young children, you'll see them, their stomachs go in and out when they breathe, not their chest. Their stomachs go in and out. As we get older, we forget how to do that, and we try to breathe in through our chest. The problem with breathing into our chest, which is where the lungs are, and so again, your body says, okay, gulp in quickly into the lungs. That's what we want. And that's sort of the fastest way to do it. But there's not a lot of room because of the rib cage. The diaphragm is below it and allows the lungs to go downward. So there's a lot more room downward than there is against the ribs. If we can breathe that way, so let the stomach expand and the breath go down, you can get a lot more oxygen into your system. Now, it takes a little bit longer, which is why the gulping and expanding the chest is what your body wants, because it's faster. It doesn't take a lot longer, but it takes a little bit longer. You have to train yourself to do this. A great way to do this is to take voice lessons. Even if you can't sing, voice instructors teach you how to do that. So I was very lucky. I took voice lessons as a teen, so I already had this foundation. Then the martial arts kind of hammered at home. Another thing that's really good for this is yoga. Take some yoga classes. Even if you just do the ones off YouTube, yoga really emphasizes breathing in the movements. It really focuses you on how you're breathing and when you're breathing and the quality of your breath. So even if you just do that for a month or so, you'll learn a lot about your breathing. And one final practical thing you do with breath is when you're working out, you want to always breathe out on the hard part and in on the easy part. What does that mean? For example, in a push-up. So the hard part is you're down here, you're at the ground, and you push up. That's the hard part. So you're going to breathe in as you go down and then out as you go up. And that expulsion of air, because you're facing the ground, it pushes you up. No, it doesn't. That'd be great, wouldn't it? If you could just breathe yourself into a push-up. No, but the expulsion of air just helps you to focus your muscles and contract your muscles a little bit more, and also gets your body in the right rhythm of breathing. You don't want to be trying to breathe in when you're doing something really hard and constricting all your muscles. You want to breathe in when you're relaxing. So most exercises, it's really easy to figure out where this spot is. Sometimes really complex ones, it's harder. But if you can find a spot where you should be breathing in and then a spot where you should be breathing out in your movements, it makes a world of difference. I hope you've enjoyed this video and maybe learned something. Please like and subscribe if you did. Maybe leave a comment about some other thoughts on breathing that you have. And as always, stay healthy.